Hey guys, I'm making this video about living as a digital nomad and investing in the Dominican Republic. Now, there's tons of different investment vehicles that you can use, such as CDs, different investment funds, stocks, as well as real estate. But I want to talk about some of the ones that I personally use and that work very well, but you really have to educate yourself on the math and the terms behind a lot of these. Now, one website that I like to use is Rexy, which is a great website to find out, interest rates on your credit cards. If you have a Dominican credit card, interest rates on loans, whether it be personal loans, vehicles, or hypotecas. And then also different types of inversiones, investment funds such as a CD or like stocks. So one thing that I like to do is a certificate of deposits. I make sure to do it in pesos just because US dollars and euros don't really pay out that much. And this is worldwide. Like, this isn't just a Dominican thing. Um, I always do it in pesos. Now, one of the key things that I would definitely say is you have to understand inflation. Inflation hurts currencies. Inflation is a country buster. So you definitely have to understand inflation, one against the US dollar, and then also the Dominican peso or Colombian peso, whatever country that you're in. So this will definitely apply to whatever country, Brazil as well as Thailand. So basically, any country, these principles still apply. One thing that I like to do is, let's say a certificate of deposit for, say, 90 days. And let's say we want close to $20,000. Right now the peso is a little bit less, so this isn't quite 20, but say, let's actually do a conversion really quick. And I'll put in Dominican peso. Let's say $20,000. So I have this amount, copy, let's paste this in here. This is roughly $20,000. So I like the Dominican Republic because they give really good interest rates. These are all banks. So you see Asociación Popular, Vimenca, Motocredito, Scotia Bank is in here. And one thing I like to do is, one, look at the risk factor. And as you kind of go down, there's more risk. And also the interest rates kind of change. Say, for instance, Bond Reserva, they only give you 5%. But I like banks like Adopin, which they give you 10.25%, which is great. So you'll make about 31,000 pesos back in 90 days. So let's convert this. So you make about $516 back. Now, say for instance you have $100,000 in the bank. Let's put that in there. And we go here. In 90 days, the interest rate actually went up. So $100,000 in 90 days, you made $2,648. Now, you also have to remember inflation. So this is good if you just want to park your money and you want it to grow really fast. And like I said, there's various different options. You have Asociación Popular, you have Modo Credito. The reason why I like Modo Credito is because this is a bank that really specializes in auto loans, and auto loans are really high, so they can really afford to give you this money back because the rates that they give out to their associates, their customers, is much higher than 10%. So what they do is they give you the difference. So say for instance, 16% is their rate. This is just an example. They keep 6, you get 10. This is very safe. You can also do it directly with the central bank, so you don't have to go through any of these different commercial banks. You can also do this with Banco Central, which is good. And you have different, terms that you can do your CDs. So, say for instance, now this is locked in. So if you can do one for 90 days, you just have to keep your money in for 90 days, and you get this return back. I've talked to several banks about this, and one thing I like to do, like I said, always look at your risk factor. Now, this is one of the easiest ways to make money. But there's other ways. You can do real estate. And I want to show you guys something. So you can purchase real estate and rent it out. That's one of the tried and true ways. But you have to be careful what real estate you buy. Now, one thing that I'll say is don't just let, a real estate agent say, "Oh, hey, this is a great property. This is a nice area." You have to think about one, what the price is, and then how much you're getting back a month, the cap rate. And I'll explain that in a few minutes. So, a lot of real estate in the Dominican Republic is inflated. There's a lot of hype. Always try to look for deals. Don't just try to, "Oh man, this is a nice neighborhood. This looks beautiful. This will rent, blah, 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 blah." You have to look at comps. You have to look at comparables. Okay, how much are the places renting in my area? So, say for instance, this place is over $200,000, but I'm only getting 1,200 back. Like this doesn't look like a good rate. And let me actually explain cap rate. So capitalization rate run. Let's go to the J.P. Morgan Chase. The role of cap rates in real estate. So basically, here's what I'm going to explain. So the cap rate is your annual income from that property divided by the original purchase price of that property. So say for instance you make $10,000. You make $10,000 and you purchased it for 100,000. That's a 10% cap rate. Now, what is a good cap rate? Anywhere between 4 to 10%. I really don't like going below 5%. And you have to look at it this way. 5%, you'll make your money back in 20 years. 10%, you'll make your money back in 10 years. Now, this is something that is if you're really patient, but that's not where you make money in real estate. You make it through depreciation and all the tax benefits with that, but also the appreciation of your asset. So the value of that property going up. Let's actually calculate the cap rate on one of these. So this property looks beautiful, right? This looks gorgeous, but let's calculate this cap rate. Turn the converter off. And 12. So I'll make $14,000 divided by 200. So I only made 6.5%. Now, this isn't bad, but I'm just like, I really want something more than this. Like, I'm really looking for that 7, 8, 9, and 10%. And your risk goes up as you kind of creep towards that 10%. But like I said, you got to get to know what you're doing. The second thing that you need to understand is the appreciation of this property. Is the value of this property already inflated? That way, it's not going to appreciate much more. That's one of the biggest problems that you'll run into. Like, does my property have room to appreciate? Like, is this going to go up to 300,000? And the reason why I want to do that is because if I want to sell it, I'll make money. But really, here's what's the good thing about appreciation. Your equity. Your equity in your home, how much of the home do you own? So, say for instance, I purchased my home outright at $100,000. I own $100,000 in equity in that property. But now the value appreciates to 150. So now I just gained $50,000 in equity. What I like to do is I purchase properties and I wait for the property to appreciate. and then I take a loan against that property. So, un préstamo personal con garantía hipotecaria. So, these rates can be kind of high, and it just varies depending on the bank. It really does. But what you can do is you purchase a property, wait for the value to appreciate, and then use that money to buy another property. So you took one property and turned it into two. This is actually what I've done before. I purchased an apartment, its value actually doubled, and then I took that money to purchase another property cash. So these are ways that you can use to now you're making double your money in rent. So even though you may not necessarily be making this 10%, and say for instance you're only making 6%, like with a property like this, then you can basically turn that property into two properties, and now you've got, say for instance the other property is making 6% as well. Now you've got, effectively double your money. Like I said, the problem that you're going to run into with just having cash is inflation. Inflation eats up a lot of your profits, but I like real estate because I have a tangible asset that can appreciate, that I can leverage to buy more properties and still keep that income generating property, that asset that I can borrow against, over and over again in the future. And you can also pass these down to your kids or, so on. So these are just some of the ways that you can invest in the Dominican Republic. If you have any questions, definitely put it in the comments. I'm not trying to sell anything, so I don't have any specific recommendations like, hey, purchase through me or this and that. I don't do that. I don't sell real estate. But as an investor myself, there's just so many different options that you have. So thanks again, guys. Like I said, I'm really focused more on the tech side. So I'm a software engineer, but I do like to take the income from that and reinvest that money so it can grow. And then when I'm older, then I don't have to work.